Well, hey there, how's it going? This is Seth from retipster.com. And for a couple years now, I've been hearing about this company called Roofstock. And just a couple weeks ago, I had a chance to talk with a couple of the team members of Roofstock and learn a little bit more about what their company's all about, how the website works, what it has to offer to the world of real estate investors. And so once I got more familiar with what these guys are all about, I thought it might be a relevant thing just to mention to the RE Tipster audience. So basically what Roofstock is they assist real estate investors in finding and purchasing turnkey rental properties. And essentially what that means is you can buy a rental property. In most cases, there's already going to be a tenant in place. For the most part, there shouldn't be any massive immediate expenses that you have to pay for. All the properties are going to be at least in livable condition. There may be some odds and ends that you have to take care of, but it's not like a huge rehab required in order to get this thing marketable. And essentially, that's what Roofstock does in a number of key markets around the country. If we go to the website, click on Learn, click on Markets, we can see a map that outlines really where all of the key markets are that they're currently active. And if we zoom in here a little bit, we can kind of see the different cities where they have a lot of properties available. And in my conversations with these guys, one of the things that I was wondering about is where does this inventory come from? What kinds of people are selling their properties on your website? And they were telling me that a lot of the sellers that list their properties on this website are institutional sellers. So a company that might own a big portfolio of rental properties, or individual sellers who just kind of want to be done with it quick and not go through all the gyrations of listing it themselves with a realtor. The benefit that Roofstock brings to the table for the seller anyway is that they charge them a 2.5% commission when the deal closes, as opposed to a 6% commission if they were just working with a normal real estate agent. They also charge a fee of, I believe it's 0.5% to the buyer. Both parties have to pay something when they come to the table, but given how much it is and the value that Roofstock brings to the table, it's pretty much worth it as long as they can actually deliver good, solid deals for both parties. So something that's unique about Roofstock is that when they sell you a property, most of the time the property is going to have a tenant in it already. So it's not like this empty house and you got to figure out how to fill it up. There's usually going to be somebody there. And I can actually tell you from experience, every time I have inherited a tenant, it was actually a bad thing. The whole reason I was getting a great deal on the property was because there was a bad tenant in there and the property owner, the landlord, didn't know how to get rid of them or how to handle the problem. And that was part of why I was able to buy it for as cheap as I did. So simply having a tenant in place is not necessarily any kind of a guarantee of success. And I think Roofstock understands that. And that's part of why you'll get really, really detailed reports showing all of the issues that are outstanding with the property itself in terms of its physical condition and any immediate maintenance items that need attention. And you'll get a lot of helpful information on the tenant that's in place. So if you do have a tenant that is most likely going to be a problem, you can at least be aware of that before you go into it. And you can sort of formulate a game plan. And Roofstock actually offers a couple really, really impressive guarantees with all the properties that they sell. First of all, buyers have a 30-day money-back guarantee if they're not satisfied with their purchase for any reason. Roofstock will also pay market rent to the owner minus any property management fees for any properties that they sell as vacant until the property manager can find a tenant to get in there. It's important to note that that particular guarantee only applies if you as the owner are using one of the Roofstock certified property managers. So you do have to adhere to that requirement in order for that to work out. But if you do, and frankly, I'm not sure why you wouldn't, the bottom line is that, one way or another, you should be collecting payments for your property almost immediately after buying it. I can tell you in the real estate investing business, guarantees are pretty much unheard of. So I just thought it was really cool that Roofstock is actually, coming to the table with this kind of assurance to help people get comfortable with the properties that they're buying through their platform. And something else that they can do is actually match you up with a local property manager. Apparently they go through and they vet a lot of different property managers in the area and they find the best ones and then recommend those to you. And from what they were telling me, they have no financial affiliation with these property managers at all. So they're not recommending them to you because they're getting paid to. They're doing it because that's who they've found to be the best in the area based on their research. So that's another very helpful and important thing just to be aware of if you decide to work with these guys and if you decide to hire a property manager rather than just managing it yourself. So just to show you on the side a little bit, if we go here and click on CR Properties, by the way, I'm going to have an affiliate link to this website beneath this video in case you want to check that out. It's retipster.com/roofstock. We'll bring you right there. From what I saw on their website, it looks like the vast majority of these properties are priced somewhere between like $75,000 to $150,000. And sometimes you'll see some outliers that are a little bit above or lower than that, but like probably 90% of their properties are right in that price range, which I think actually makes this a pretty ideal service. Say if you live in like a coastal area of the US where property values are just like nuts and it's really, really hard to go out and buy your first single family rental house because it's like $1 million or something like that. If you still want to get in the game, but you don't necessarily have millions to work with, a website like Roofstock will basically just give you turnkey access to a lot of properties that are much, much more affordable, so to speak, or at least not as ridiculously expensive as they would be in a city like San Diego or San Francisco or Washington, D.C. or New York City, that kind of thing. So one of the really nice things about Roofstock is that they give you a ton of information about every single property. Keep in mind, I haven't even created an account yet, and I can see all this information. And all you got to do is just click on any one of these that sounds interesting, and you can see tons and tons of really, really helpful data. You can see pictures of the property, obviously. You can take a 3D tour of the property through this kind of a video they have, which looks like it's some kind of a computer-generated thing, which is kind of interesting. I don't think I've ever seen that before. You can see a 3D model of the property. You can see the curb view, obviously, just from Google Street View. And more importantly, you can see all the details you'd ever want to know with regard to the financial analysis side of things, like the initial investment required and what the annual cash flow is going to be, what the cash on cash return and the cap rate is projected to be. And in terms of the returns, I can tell you that like every rental property I've ever bought has actually performed way, way, way better than this. So like these numbers aren't like amazing necessarily. And I think part of that is a reflection of the market we're currently in, where real estate prices are just really, really high right now. So I'm not going to tell you that these are like the best deals you're ever going to find, but if you're looking for more of an easy button so you don't have to go searching high and low for the best opportunities, and you don't want to mess with all the haggling and all of the back and forth negotiation and going on some wild goose chase trying desperately to find the one deal that actually makes sense in your market, a website like Roofstock will really just give you a lot of these pre-packaged properties that have some kind of cash flow. So it's probably not going to put you in the red. And if you want to start diversifying your investment dollars and maybe putting some money into something like real estate where you can actually get some tax benefits and that kind of thing, then this could be a really, really helpful site to check out. And I'll also say, apparently, I haven't looked into this too much, but you can buy like entire portfolios of properties. So say if you've got like millions of dollars to work with, then you can buy like huge bundles of properties together, and they've got a lot of information on that as well. I personally have not bought any properties through Roofstock yet, so I can't tell you like my firsthand experience. I really wish I could, but I was actually really curious to find other people out there who have used them and what their experience was like. And I actually did find a few reviews on there. One was on BiggerPockets, one was on Reddit, and I don't know that this is any like conclusive indication of what you can expect, but I can tell you that I did not find a single negative comment or review about these guys anywhere that I looked. So that's not to say that could never happen, but so far when it comes to the people who are, publicly vocal about their experience, everybody seems to see the value in what Roofstock is doing, and they seem to have a pretty good track record so far. So that was another thing that got me comfortable with, talking more about this on the blog. So I just want to put this together. If that's the kind of thing you're looking for, say if you have extra cash laying around or you just want to add more rental properties to your portfolio, and you want to do it in like a turnkey fashion, so there's actually like a good property manager in place, and you can even get help with connections on the financing end as well. I think they do at least a little bit of that in terms of helping people find lenders out there if you don't already have one. Then, I think Roofstock is definitely one to keep an eye on and to check out if you want to learn a little bit more about how that all works. Again, I do have an affiliate relationship with these guys, and that is not why I'm choosing to talk about them. I only talk about, companies that I think are legit and have a lot of value to bring to the table. But I also want to be just upfront about that. That is a thing that I have with them. I get a small commission for referrals I send their way. And yeah, I hope it's helpful to some of you out there who are looking for rental properties. If you've sort of run out of options in the market where you're at, these guys could be another great avenue to explore. So hope that helps. Wish you guys all the best, and I'll talk to you soon.